Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm in the office, taking care of business, paying bills as usual, mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through. Hope you guys are going to have a good week, a productive week. I got a whole lot going on here. Let's philosophize just a little bit on being single. So I'm going to talk to my single guys out there. I do coach a couple women, and they're in relationships, they're married. All the guys that I coach are all single. So let's just philosophize a little bit. I got some questions, a handful of questions that are quite uncomfortable. And we're going to ask these questions to ourselves. So get your mirror out, look in the mirror, be a little humble, and let's ask ourselves some of these very uncomfortable questions. And we're trying to find out why we're single. Why are you single? Could it possibly be that you have an unrealistic expectation of relationships, or you have an unrealistic outlook on beauty? Are you one of these types of guys who does nothing? You do nothing for yourself. You're out of shape, you don't even brush your teeth very much, you probably stink, you don't cut your hair, you don't pay attention to how you dress, you're not particularly intelligent, you're not particularly successful, you're just some average working guy. Why would some supermodel or actress or one of those types bat an eyelash at you? Why? I'm being brutally honest. I've had to ask myself this question. I like those types of women too, and I've asked myself, why don't they ever look at me? I'm invisible to those types of women. I'm good looking, 6'2", in good shape. You got to have more. You want to be around high-valued people. You want to attract beautiful women. Well, that's possible. But you better be all that in a bag of chips. You better be desirable. You better have something that they want. Why would she want you? Because you're a good guy? Take a good look at yourself. Take a good look at how you view women. You may be trying to recreate the pornography that you watch. You may be trying to recreate a fantasy that you have. It's time to live in reality. It's time to give up on the idea that you're going to have some supermodel wife. My best advice to guys is to find yourself just a normal woman. An average chick. You got problems. You're not perfect. Why do you expect her to be? I was talking about this with a friend of mine. He's massively overweight. He's very short. He's probably 5'2" when he's standing on his tippy toes. And he's 370, maybe 400 pounds at 5'2". He's missing most of his hair. He doesn't read. He doesn't have a job. He does drugs. He's got all kinds of mental problems. And I'm not just trying to bash this guy that I know. I'm giving you this is a lot of people. This is many of you watching. Go take a good look in the mirror. And this guy that I know tells me that the reason why he's single is because he's holding out for a more beautiful woman. I recommended a woman to him that I thought would be a perfectly good date for him, and he rejected her the second he saw her. Pulled her up on Facebook and said, yeah, I can hook you up with her. She's a friend of mine, and she's looking for a guy, and you guys would make a perfect couple. He batted that tennis ball away as hard as he could with his backhand. Nope. And I said, why? And he said, because she's not hot enough. And I burst into laughter. You must have some crazy unrealistic expectation of what you're able to get. There's no beautiful hot woman that's ever going to want a guy like you. Period. Unless you somehow become a billionaire. That's the only way it's going to happen. You have to be realistic. Live in reality. Stop living in a damn fantasy world and sabotaging yourself. So you might have unrealistic expectations of what a relationship is. You may have a whole bunch of rules, a whole bunch of ideas that you think that a relationship is about, and that's not what it's about. And every time you meet a woman, she runs away because she recognizes that you're a horrible relationship material with these weird, unrealistic expectations of women that no one could live up to. We could go on with this for a while. Let's move on. What are some other reasons why you're single? Could it be that you're still traumatized by a past negative experience? Could you have baggage? We all do. It's important to love like you've never been hurt. Oh, that's so hard. They say love like you've never been hurt, work like you don't need the money, and dance like nobody's watching. To love like you've never been hurt, can anyone do that? As we get older, going into a date is like going into a gunfight. You're bringing all your baggage with you. So many men and women are single right now because of past negative experiences, trauma from a past relationship. That may be the reason why you're single, is because you're still traumatized from that last relationship. And if you don't get over it, you'll be single forever. And maybe you say, good. Well, that answer, the person inside of you, the voice that just said, good, I'll stay single. The combative, defiant voice. That's the weakness in you. That's that traumatized, scared person in you that doesn't want to get hurt again. Too scared to be hurt again. Too scared to play again. Why are you single? This is an uncomfortable conversation. Do you feel like that relationships are too much of a financial burden? Are you single because you're broke? Are you single because you're not productive enough? Why are you broke? Why aren't you more productive? We live in the greatest country in the world where there's lots of jobs. Why don't you work harder? Why don't you stack up more money? I know this sounds weird because you figure, well, I'm doing my best. Are you doing your best? Are you? Most people who think they're doing their best, myself included, are really not giving their all. Imagine if you went for 2 days. I was going to say 2 weeks. I had to shorten it for 2 days. 2 days. That's not long. 2 days. Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, Friday. Just 2 days. And you were to go all out with your job, with your success, to just really go all out. Forget about the sleep. Forget about all the other bullshit in your life. What if you were to go hard? You might actually be somewhere. That's just 2 days. Imagine if you were to go 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years. What if you grinded for 2 years? 2 years goes by like that. I could do 2 years standing on my head. 2 years passes by anyways. My point is that's a lame cop-out excuse to say that you can't afford a woman, or to talk about it as if it's a financial burden. Work harder. Why are you single? Could it be that you have a fear of commitment? That you're scared to fully commit to somebody? What if you find somebody better? What if it doesn't work out? You can't stand on the side of the pool looking at the water, watching everybody else swim and frolic and have fun and scream and cheer and play. You're going to have to jump in. That water might be cold, but you're going to have to jump in. Commitment is manhood. Your fear of commitment is the little boy, the little child, that little weakling inside of you. That's the weakest voice in you. The one that's afraid to commit. Afraid to commit to a woman. It's the most natural thing in the world. You need to get on top of that immediately. Not so you can get married, but so you can be a man. Fear of commitment is a problem. It's a major problem. But it ties to the next one. Why are you single? Let's ask ourselves this. Why are we single? I'll make this the last question. I know this is uncomfortable. I could go on with this. I have 10 more questions, but let's just make this the last one, because I know a lot of you are probably like ready to turn the video off. You don't like this. I don't like it either. I don't like asking myself this types of stuff. Why are you single? Go look in the mirror and ask yourself this over and over. You'll get an answer, and you're not going to like it. Are you depressed? Are you? That's an honest question. Sometimes we don't like to admit it. You may have to admit it. The only way that you'll get past it is to admit it. Are you angry? Now this goes back to harboring negative emotions from past traumas. But you might just be one of these angry guys. There's a lot of guys that are just really angry. Angry at women, angry at the world, angry at their lack of success, angry at themselves for feeling like failures, angry at a whole host of things. And they carry this. They carry this like a big giant boulder around with them, this burden. You might be single because of that burden. And if you could let that burden go, you might see your life change. You might see yourself change. If anybody else wants to further this conversation, talk about this anymore, why they're single, contact me.